of Jefferson, how do you define it? And how long have you been at this trying to form Jefferson?
We've been at this a little bit over 4 years. We have 23 counties that have signed declarations and petitions to withdraw from the state of California. It is for just this reason that we need to do this. We have no representation in Sacramento. The people who run Sacramento are felons. So look at Title 8, Section 1324. The governor is a felon. We say no to that. Siskiyou County has already signed an anti-sanctuary state resolution. Shasta County signed one. Tehama County signed one. And you don't even hear that in the news below Sacramento.
Well, you're hearing it here, apparently. I don't know where those counties are, but they sound like fine places. But since then, since 2014, there are competing efforts with Jefferson, competing elements to try and extract the normal people from the crazed people in California, if you will. You have billionaire Tim Draper trying to split the state into the 51st state. You have New California also trying to split into the 51st state. And you also have this effort to secede from the Union completely, create its own country. So why is your effort any different? How is it better?
Well, our effort has support from the people of the aforementioned counties. We have literally almost 100,000 signatures from 23 counties. We're continuing to gather those signatures, and our effort is legitimate because we're using a legal, moral, ethical process. Article 4, Section 3. We're suing the state of California in federal court right now for lack of representation and dilution of vote.
Okay. Let me touch on that. The representation that you have in California now has not changed in what, about 150 years or so?
We have added 39.5 million people to this state, and yet we have not added one single representative to the House of the People or the state Senate.
So that would be the Assembly and the Senate. And so this dates back to the 1860s?
Yes, it does. And the representative nature of California in its 1879 Constitution was designed to deny certain groups of people access to political power, specifically the Chinese.
And in this case, it's denying Republicans access to power, and it's working absolutely beautifully when you look at the supermajority that Moonbeam has in Sacramento. How do you envision Jefferson? What does Jefferson look like to you? Physically, we know what it looks like. And that is essentially the northern part of California being broken off. Mm-hmm. But philosophically and politically, what does it look like to you?
Here's what it looks like to us. Zero corporate tax, a part-time legislature with each county having at least one state-level representative in the Senate, and in the Assembly it will be one representative for each 5,000 people. That will be true representation so that it is cheap and easy to get rid of a crook or a bum if the electorate finds out they can't live with their representative.
Zero corporate tax. What about income tax? Are you going to have some sort of way to fund government and government services, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have the normal taxation means that most states have, but we want zero corporate tax so that we can actually attract business to our state instead of running them off with reckless abandon.
Which is what Moonbeam is doing right now. What about, you're doing this through the third branch of government process, if you will, through suing the state of California. One, from a legal perspective, might say that's a bit of a long shot. What's not a long shot is what some of the other efforts are doing, and that's Article 18 of the California Constitution, which is the ballot initiative process. Why not try and go through that process and get signatures?
Well, Tim Draper's a billionaire. He's got plenty of money to pay signature gatherers. We never had that kind of money. And Article 4, Section 3 is the only legal way to split a state. There is no precedent to split a state by initiative. However, if Tim Draper's deal passes, the people in the state of Jefferson will go to Sacramento en masse, and we will fight because we're not going to be subjugated by San Francisco and Sacramento any more than we wanted to be subjugated by Los Angeles, Sacramento, and San Francisco.
So you will join Draper's fight, is what you're saying? You'll conjoin? No. You'll fight him?
We will fight him, and we will fight anybody. The state of Jefferson is going to be a state of the making of the people who live here, and not a billionaire in Silicon Valley who wants to run a state from his chair and throw the rest of rural California under the bus. We will not submit.
When you superimpose his proposed area of state, would include, quote, Jefferson, correct?
He calls it Northern California, I think, and it would be Jefferson and Sacramento and San Francisco counties. We would have no representation under that model either. And we will fight that. We will not submit to tyranny of any kind, much less Tim Draper's design of what his kingdom should look like.
Well, one thing's clear. No matter what methodology you're choosing, whether Jefferson or Draper or some other, secession even, it's clear that X amount of the people of California have had enough of what's going on in Sacramento. Mark, good luck.